Welcome to our step-by-step acrylic painting demo on abstract water reflections. Materials required for this project include canvas or acrylic paper. The canvas I'll be using is 16 inch by 20 inches. You'll also need a pencil and an eraser, various paint brushes, a cup of water and a paper towel, a ruler, a palette or plate for mixing paint, acrylic paint in either tubes or bottles in any brand you desire. I'll be using Blick's version of acrylic paint because that's what I use in my classroom. And finally, you'll need a reference image of water reflections. We encourage our students to go out and take their own copyright-free images, no internet photos. To get started, you'll want to create an underpainting. An underpainting is precisely what it sounds like, applying a layer of paint to your canvas or surface prior to painting it. You can choose any color you'd like for your underpainting. Just add a little water, mix it really good, and cover the entire surface area. An underpainting not only covers a stark white canvas, but it also adds depth and dimension to your painting. Make sure your brush strokes are smooth, that there aren't any drips, and then don't forget the sides. This should dry pretty quickly, and once it's fully dry, you'll be able to draw the grid. Now for the type of painting we're going to create, you don't need a large grid. In fact, all we're going to do is we're going to draw a vertical line down the center of the canvas and a horizontal line across the center of the canvas. So if my canvas is 16 inches by 20 inches, I'm going to draw a vertical line down the center of the canvas that's 10 inches in from the side on the long side, and as I flip my canvas, for the short side, I'll draw a center line that is 8 inches from the edges. Okay, this is the only tool we will need to help us draw our water reflections accurately. Make sure you do the same thing on your reference image so that when you're drawing, you're able to draw what you see in each quadrant. This helps you break down the large image into smaller pieces for accuracy. Remember to draw what you see, not what you know, and also be aware that this is a very organic and abstract painting. So there's a lot of forgiveness and there's a lot of room for error. Don't stress out, do the best that you can. When your drawing is complete, it's time to paint. Before you get started, it's always a good idea to first mix paint and try to match the colors to your reference photo. Create a brainstorm paint swatch chart so you know what the plan is. Here you can see I have chosen my first color, which is going to be the lightest color I have on my canvas. I'm going to hold the paintbrush like I would a pencil. I'm going to rest my arm on the edge of the canvas or the edge of the desk, and I'm going to make sure that I create nice, clean, smooth brush strokes. This is called color blocking. Now, acrylic can be difficult to use because it can be a little bit thick. If your paint is too thick and you're getting a rough edge as you're painting along your pencil lines, what you might want to do is you might want to loosen up the acrylic paint just a little bit by mixing in a little bit of water. If it's in your budget, you could also mix a little bit of acrylic medium to your acrylic paint for flow purposes. And again, don't forget the edges. The goal here is to color block and attempt to stay within the lines as I work through the canvas. But because it's such an organic, abstract piece, if I get out of the lines or I need to fix a shape, it's not going to affect the painting in the least. You don't have to worry about it. It's still going to look like water in the end. Now, artists have different ways of working. Everyone is unique in that way. But what I suggest doing is to start with one color and work all over the canvas with that one color. This will save you so much time and a lot of satisfaction as you see the painting come together. Just make sure that you mix enough paint to fill the areas you need to fill. It's really hard to mix the same paint color twice. As you're painting, make sure that you go back and forth, add multiple layers to make sure that your paint is opaque. Opaque means solid, not see-through. As I'm painting, I have my reference image directly in front of me so I can refer back to that. One thing I noticed in these lighter blue sections is that there's a darker blue area that blends in with those areas. So I'm going to do a little bit of value blending here while the light blue paint is still wet. I need both the lighter blue and the darker blue paint to be wet in order to blend those two things together. You'll also see me using my paper towel a lot as I'm blending. What I like to do is I like to take my paintbrush and rub off all the water and paints so that I can apply the dry brush blending technique. And what I do with my dry brush is I just add a little bit of strokes around the edges of the dark blue so that it mixes with the light blue in a soft way. We also call this feathering. Okay, I have fully completed the first color throughout the canvas, and now I'm going to do a little bit more color mixing and matching to create my second color. With my reference image directly in front of me as I paint, I'm going to apply the second color throughout the canvas the same way I did the first color. So once again, I'll be working with color blocking and clean edges throughout the piece. Okay, let's jump ahead and see how it looks when I have completed the second color. Okay, so you'll just continue this process. I'm now going to add in the third main color, which is kind of a darker gray. And I mixed again to create this color. And I'm gonna go ahead and start in one section and work my way around the canvas, referring back to my reference image as I go about it. Now, your reference image may look really daunting. It might have a lot of shapes and a lot of colors and a lot of details. But if you break it down into simple shapes and you paint one color at a time, your piece really will come together in the end. And this process is actually really enjoyable. The hardest part in this painting is really knowing when to stop. There's so much detail I could continue to add in. Make sure you take breaks, that you talk to your peers, you talk to your teacher, your mentor, your friend, and ask for their advice as you're working. You don't want to overdo it, but you also want to make sure that your painting has enough detail to be interesting and to appear as water reflections. The more detailing and highlights, the more realistic it's going to look. One thing I do highly suggest as you go through the painting process is making sure that your painting includes color blending as well as color blocking. A good mix of the two are really important. Having those value blends really add a nice quality to your work. All right, it was hard to stop, but I think that I am finished. Take a look at how it looks on the sides as well. Remember, the canvas wraps around the edges, so having your painting continue along the edges really adds a nice factor. And it will look good if you hang it on the wall. Okay, this last step is optional, but it's a good way to protect your work. I'm going to add a clear coat, an acrylic gloss varnish to my canvas. Again, it's just a nice way to protect your work and add a nice glossy finish, but it's totally optional. If you do decide to do this last and final step, make sure that you apply the gloss varnish evenly and that your brush strokes are smooth. And don't forget the sides. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please note that the link to this full unit can be found below in the description. Thanks again, and make sure to subscribe and follow us at Art Teacher Fusion for more art teacher resources.